Alright, this is a small area, but there's a lot of prep work to be done. Basically, this is next to our garden shed, which currently houses our chickens. And what I want to do is clear this out, pick up some heavy stuff, move it out of the way. We normally have solar panels up here, and we want to run that wire to the solar panels over to the pole barn. I'm eventually going to dig a trench, but I have this obstacle in the way right here, a very large red oak stump. And if you recall, this is probably one of the largest trees I've cut down on our lot to date. Now I could probably make about a 15-part mini-series of just digging this out with the backhoe, but I don't think that's going to be too exciting. So this is one of those times when JD's going to say uncle, and I'm going to have to go out and get a stump grinder. But first there's quite a bit of debris I need to move out of the way. Now that piece of rolled up fencing right there weighs about 100 pounds, so I really don't want to mess with it myself. I've moved it around a couple times and it's just not worth the effort. JD can get it done much more easier. I've been collecting scraps from our lot in different projects where I've been taking things apart or don't need anymore, so this is going on the scrap pile, and pretty soon I'm going to take this down to a recycling place. The slice of oak on top has been frozen to the stump below, so I thought I could try to get this off gingerly, and the sixth time will be the charm. If you're wondering what the deal is, this thing has ice on the bottom, so it slides really easy, and it's sliding the downhill side of the stump, and it's moving it to one side of the brush crusher, and I'm trying to get it centered. Now this stuff doesn't weigh 100 pounds, but it's intertwined with weeds and thicket, and it would be a pain just to try to pull out, so it's a lot easier for the brush crusher to do it. I've lined up a stump grinder. I'm going to pick it up on a Saturday morning, and it's going to allow me to keep it until Monday morning, so I'll have 2 days to use it. But there's still a lot left of this stump, so I'm trying to take a chainsaw and cut off as much as I can so I'm not cutting into the valuable rental time. Anybody got a dental appointment coming up? This is pretty tedious with the chainsaw, but I think it would be even more tedious with the stump grinder. I'm going to start by taking one swipe right down the middle, and then I'll end up taking 2 more swipes, one on the right and one on the left. If I didn't mention it, this is a red oak. It's not very rotten at all. It's very, very dense of a tree. So really you can only go about a 1/4 inch per pass on this stump grinder, and sometimes even less than that. You'll know if you're taking off too much if the motor starts to bog down. Also, if you damage any of the teeth, it's $15 for them to replace a tooth on here, which I haven't damaged any since I've ever rented these things, so they're pretty indestructible. I've never hit a stone or any piece of metal though. The dirt and the sawdust is really piling up, and actually the stump grinder is sitting higher up than it should be because it's on top of all this debris. So I'm just going to rake it off and lower it so I can get deeper into this stump. But maybe I should bring out the big guns instead. It's hard to see in the camera, but there's still quite a bit of stump left there. A few ins and outs of renting a stump grinder like this. First off, eye protection is a must. You need to really cover up your whole face. The other thing is padding, wearing a jacket and maybe even padding on your pants, because when the stuff kicks back at you, it does sting a little bit. When it's discharging its debris, it discharges it on top, and if you're starting to get a good pile of dirt and sawdust, a lot of that stuff won't shoot straight out. It goes right back into the ditch that you're creating. So you need to take a rake or something or cover that so you can spit out the debris easier. And lastly, even though the machine is doing all the work, when you're gripping that joystick, you need to depress a button and a trigger at the same time, and it vibrates so much that you don't realize how hard that you're squeezing it, and it really makes your hands tired by the end of the day. It's looking like there's an end in sight. I went through 2 tanks of gas, and I probably from start to finish I've been working about 8 or 9 hours. Wow, my hands are a little bit numb. I'm not going to be playing any Jenga tonight, I'll tell you that. I probably put about 5 hours on this machine. Took a few breaks in between. I had lunch and moving the cameras. I think I got this whittled down pretty good to where I can smooth this out, not have to worry about anything when I want to start planting grass here in the spring. Just need to clear out some of the dead thickets back there. But just going to hop into JD and smooth this out a little bit. Well, that stump grinder sure kicks up a lot of mud. It looks like I adobe'd the side of my chicken coop over here. But the next day I had one more day with the stump grinder, and I took it over there where I had a stump that I did not want to dig out with the tractor because it was close to a water line, and I didn't want any of the roots or anything pulling up, potentially any damage to that water line. So I brought it over there, and I found a nice little metal fence post, pound-in fence post that was embedded in that tree. Luckily I saw it. I pulled it out with a little work of the backhoe and then the front end loader using a chain, got that out of the way. Otherwise, that could have been some extra money bringing that stump grinder back if I would have damaged any of the teeth. So I took care of that. I grounded that stump down, did a few others here and there. So taking that stump out wasn't too bad. It's been just sitting there a little while. It was rotted. It went pretty easy. I wanted an easy day just to take it easy with my hands from all the vibrations from that machine. So that was a pretty easy day, and I got this area all cleared out. So when the weather dries up a little bit, I need to make a trench with the backhoe that goes from the shed here over to the pole barn. Hopefully I got enough of this stump out of the way that it's not going to impede that little trench. And I'm going to try to tap into the power that I have going into the shed, put some temporary power or minimal power into the pole barn for just lights and stuff like that. Also, if I put some solar panels back on this roof, I want to run some of that wiring through a conduit under a trench and over to the pole barn to charge up my power station. A little bit more to go before we finally level this out and grade it properly and get it ready for some grass in the spring. But all in all, a pretty big project. I'm glad this is out of the way now so we can work on some other things. But I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one is coming out. And keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.